All right. Thanks, everyone, again for joining us. Be our last segment of the day. Coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio, in our state's capital. We'll have Professor Phil here giving us some demonstrations and education just about this virus and what we are all going through right now, and getting back to keeping each other safe and healthy, and making sure that we get to come together here real soon. So, Phil, the floor is yours.
Welcome aboard, everybody. Hi, Caitlin, waving at me. So what we're going to talk about today are the very basics of infectious disease normally and the coronavirus specifically. We're going to do some stuff. If you have questions at any time, wave your hands all over the place and we'll get you unmuted so you can ask a question. At the end, we'll open it up for a ton of questions. So we'll just go wild on that one. Sound like a plan? All right. Okay, so what is coronavirus? The biggest thing that we need to know about this is that it is a virus. A virus is just a little bit of protein. It's not even an organ. It's not a life in a lot of different ways. It just goes in and the protein connects with stuff in your body and messes you up. And it tries to make more proteins. That's what it wants to do. Make as many as it possibly can. Virus isn't some evil thing out to kill you. It just wants to make more viruses. That's it. In the process of doing that, it does some really nasty stuff to us. But we'll get into those later. So, let's do some hand raising. What do we know stops this virus? What's the best thing we can do? Caitlin?
Wash your hands.
Do you know why?
Because you can stop the virus.
Yes. All right. So why does washing our hands work is the big question. So our virus is, again, just a little bit of protein, right? If you wash, let's say beef is protein. If you wash a steak, does it disappear? It does not. So how come washing your hands works so well? So the coronavirus has that protein, but it's covered in fat. And it's the fat that protects the protein from dying. Pretty much anything kills any virus whatsoever if it's outside of your body. If I covered this entire table in front of me with a bunch of different viruses and I left for an hour, they'd all be dead when I get back, most likely. Light, oxygen, just regular stuff in the air kills viruses. But that fat protects the coronavirus so it can live for a good long time. So oil is fat. If you got some olive oil or vegetable oil or something like that in your kitchen, go and rub it all over your hands. Not right this second, do this later, because it'll make a mess. Or if you have ever rubbed oil all over your hands accidentally and you poured it under water, tried to wash the oil off, you run water all over your hands all day, and that oil is still there at the end. You turn up the hot water, because hot water melts stuff. Hot water is really nice. And you run under really hot water, that oil's still there. Your hands are a mess. But you put just a little soap in your hand, oil's gone. Because soap grabs hold of fats, rips them apart. So when we do this to our hands, we cover them with soap and we get all that, we get rid of that fat around the coronavirus, around the protein. And once that fat is gone, there's nothing protecting that protein left. And it's dead almost immediately. Anything will kill it then. gentle breeze, just a little hotter than it is in your house, kills it. No problem. But again, the biggest thing is soap. And the reason soap works is because soap destroys fat. And fat is what protects the virus. We get rid of the fat, we get rid of the virus. Make sense? All right. So, what else works? How else can we protect ourselves from this virus?
Don't touch your face
Don't touch your face. Why do we want to touch our face?
because you can get it.
Do you know how it gets in on your face? Why is it okay to touch my shoulder, but not my face as I touch my face?
I don't know how it gets in, but just germs.
Right. So germs get into your body where it's wet and open. Anything wet and open on your body. My shoulder is nice and dry and solid. My mouth is wet and a great big hole. My ears, hole, and depending on how much wax is in there, could be kind of wet. My nose, quite wet up there. It's a big hole. My eyes, wet. And there's little holes. That's how the tears come out. That's how the virus gets in. These are what we call mucous membranes. Any mucousy area, virus gets right in. Once it gets in there, that soap can't get to it. It can't destroy that fat. Then it gets in and does its thing, makes a bunch more viruses, and in the process, makes you feel not quite so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Any kind of hole in your face is the reason, or any hole anywhere. If you've got a stab wound in your side, don't go touching people with the virus and then sticking your hole in the side. That'll get you sick too. It's not good. That's why we clean our injuries with soap and water. It ain't just the coronavirus covered in fat. Soap is awesome stuff. Make sense how the virus is getting in? All right. So the other question is, what's the virus going to do to us? So we know that it hurts our lungs. It makes it really difficult to breathe. But why does it do that? Why doesn't it do something else? The reason is that we've got these proteins that it's made up of, right? Remember the protein? It's covered in fat. So the proteins start to stick out of the fat just a little bit. When they go into your bloodstream, there's like pretty much every molecule is kind of like a key, and it looks for a keyhole and tries to get a hold of that. So this protein has a certain shape, and the key that shape is fits a keyhole in your lungs. It's not that it likes the lungs, it just fits there. So it gets a hold and starts covering your lungs with this virus. So you've got a sheet that keeps the air from getting through your lungs like it's supposed to. And after this sheet goes on for a while, you start to leak fluid and your lungs fill up. This is why people say it's kind of like pneumonia, because you get fluid in the lung. Other than that, it is not that much like pneumonia. But then you can't breathe. That is most of the way the coronavirus is really dangerous, because you can't breathe. As we're finding out, there are a lot of different ways that it might be dangerous later on. We don't know yet. But the big thing is, can't breathe. If you start feeling like you can't breathe, go check it yourself out at the doctor. Makes sense? All right. Anybody want to wave for questions so far? We're not done yet. Yes, Caitlin.
People have diabetes. They can, if you get diabetes, my mom has diabetes, you can get a coronavirus.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get with certain conditions. So if you have something else, it can be easier to get the coronavirus or more dangerous once you do get it. If you're a smoker, for instance, one of the things that smoking does is paralyze cilia, which doesn't make a lot of sense at first. In your throat, and in your nose, you've got a bunch of tiny, tiny little hairs. And when stuff comes down your throat on the air, like a virus, those hairs work and throw it back out. That's what keeps you from getting sick in a lot of different ways. Even if somebody is coughing in your face with the coronavirus, for instance, in a lot of cases, tiny little hairs in your throat and nose will just throw it back out and you'll be fine. Now, smokers get that nicotine in there, and all those hairs go to sleep once they get nicotine from the cigarettes. So they can't throw it out. Makes it a lot easier for viruses of any sort and other bacteria, or also bacteria, to get in there. Don't smoke. It's a bad thing. Makes you sick. It also makes you sick independently of it, but that's beyond the scope of this course. One of the other things are, like you said, diabetes. Diabetes doesn't make it easier to get coronavirus, but it's really dangerous if you do get it with diabetes. That's because diabetes affects a lot of the same systems in your body. So then you have two things hitting, say, your lungs or your kidneys and your heart now. Apparently, coronavirus is affecting giving heart conditions now. It probably has the whole time, but we didn't know until recently. Does that answer your question, Caitlin? Anybody have any other questions before we move on? Okay, so if these little hairs in our throat help throw out the virus, why do we keep wearing masks? What's the mask good for? Yes, Caitlin.
Be safe.
Right. So do you know how the coronavirus actually gets to you and in you?
I don't know.
Okay. Many respiratory viruses, which we mean the cold, the flu, pneumonia, coronavirus, other coronaviruses like SARS and MERS. You may have heard of those in the news before or again now because we're talking about them again. They get into you not by a virus that travels along and tries to get in there, but when we cough, when we sneeze, when we breathe, it's not just air in those things. There's little drops of liquid. Sometimes when we cough, there's spit in there. When we sneeze, clearly, we're spraying snot all over the place. Even when we breathe, there's air in your, or there's water in the air that you breathe. And the virus will be in that water and in that fluid. So little drops spread out in the air, and then we breathe them in. And we suck those little drops down. And some of them might get past all those tiny little hairs. That's when we get the virus. That's when we get sick. So there are two ways that a mask helps in this case. Because what we want to do is stop other people's liquid from inside of their body from getting into our body. Don't get the inside of somebody else's body in your body. That's the basic key to all disease prevention. If it's in somebody else, it stays in somebody else. Don't get it in you. So the mask, if I'm wearing one, well, it helps some because you cough at me and then all those droplets are stopped on my mask. so I don't breathe them in. Now, if the droplets have already got to my mask, they're pretty close. Some of them are probably getting through. A virus is a lot smaller than the holes in a mask. You ever take a piece of fabric and you stretch it out really far? You can see light through. You can see the tiny little holes, right? Anybody ever try that? All right, good. Stand by. I'm the only one here. I gotta have the phone on. In addition to being able to just go through the fabric, goes right through the mask sometimes, but it'll stop a lot. If it's on the outside of your mask, when you reach up to take the mask off, that's going to get it all over your hands. And then you're going to touch your face, things like that. It all goes on and on and on. This phone is not stopping, is it? So, having a mask on helps you a bit. But if Caitlin, and it's usually Caitlin, has the coronavirus and she's wearing a mask, most of those droplets stop right here next to her face, so they don't get out for the rest of us. So the best thing is for the sick people to have plenty of masks. Healthy people should also have masks because it helps a lot. But the most help is that we don't breathe on other people. Do you know if you have the virus? How do we know? How do we know if we should be wearing the mask to prevent from infecting everybody? Anybody know how? Caitlin, you're shrugging your shoulders. Nope. Okay. Sometimes we don't know. We can have it and be perfectly healthy. We're just carrying it around, spreading it to other people. Unless you check, we're not going to know at all with a doctor checking. But some people will get a bit of a sore throat. Some people have difficulty breathing. You get a fever. All these things. You go to the doctor and you say, hey there, doctor, can you check me out? And he or she does that. And then they'll tell you in a while when the test comes back. But you might not feel sick at all, and you can still have it. So the best idea is just wear the mask. Just to make sure that you're not carrying around giving it to everybody. And it definitely helps if everybody's wearing one, that I don't get it if I'm not, if I don't have it already. Do I have it? I don't know. I haven't gone check. I don't have any symptoms. I don't feel sick. I don't have a fever, so I'm not getting checked. I feel fine. But maybe I do have it. And then I'm just spreading it around everybody like a fool. That's not a good idea. You want to skip that one. Wear the masks. Okay. What else do we know stops this virus? Or at least helps us not get it? Yes, Caitlin.
Do not get a virus means don't get close to people or hug
Right.
people.
So what we're calling social distancing now.
Yeah.
We called it that back when in 1918 during the Spanish flu as well. It's not a new phrase. But how does this help? That's the big question. How is it better that we're away from people? Yeah, if you're good and far away from people, we've got this 2 meters or 6 feet. That helps because if you cough, you're probably not spreading your spit that far. If you sneeze, your snot's not going that far, unless you're a really good sneezer. Caitlin, for instance, probably would. I'm kidding, Caitlin. So 6 feet of distance helps a lot because it's tough to get those little water droplets all the way out there. But even then, I mean, how do you know it's 6 feet? And maybe something carries a little further. Maybe there's a gust of wind, or maybe you just really are a good sneezer. So what you got to do is stay away from as many people as possible, even 6 feet away, in enough. You just stay away from people. You've got to be as alone as you can. Only chat with those same few people that already live in your house that you can't possibly avoid. I, for one, think this is wonderful. It's the happiest time of my life. Except for all the people dying. That's a bad thing. I want to be clear on that. I don't like that. But being alone, I'm a happy fan with that one. Okay. So, the question is, well, before we move on to that, questions at this point. Anybody got any questions of anything we've talked about so far? Nope. Okay. Yes, Caitlin.
Well, we talk about don't touch your face and stay 6 feet away.
Right. You got a
And wear a
question?
mask.
Wait. Second. And wear a mask, you said?
Wear a mask.
Absolutely. And wash them hands.
Yeah.
You need that soap so you can break apart that fat. All about getting rid of the fat. Not so much with diets. That's not what we're talking about. Be as fat as you want. I don't care. But you got to get the fat off of the virus. The virus needs a diet. The soap is what gives it that diet. And then it will die. Happy, happy things. You ever been on a diet and felt like you were going to die because you didn't get to eat anything? That's what we want to do to the virus. I've never been on a diet because I've weighed the same weight since I was 12. But, I hear people complain. And I understand that. Okay. So, now the big question is, why does it matter how many people we interact with? That's what all this nonsense here is for. Let me kick this up a second. Can you see those circles? Okay, great. They're different colors, but the colors don't matter that much. Mostly it's important here. Each of these circles behind me is going to be a person. Let me get rid of the ones on the side. I was just going to screw something. Nope, there's still one up there. Don't like it. Each of these is a person. And each of those people is going to talk to 2 of the other people there. Make sense? Okay. So the first thing we're going to go through is we're just going to go from the top and they're going to talk to the next person beside them. Easy. Brown talks to blue. Blue talks to purple. Purple talks to red. Red talks to green. Trust me, it's green. It's not also blue. Green talks to black. Black talks to orange. Orange talks to brown. Everybody's going to talk to one person. These are the people. One of these people has the coronavirus. The other 6 do not, but they're all going to talk to each other. Okay, so brown talks to blue. Oh, there's a little chat there, and they have an interaction. Let me pull up one. They're all filled with stuff. I'm just sharing back and forth their liquid, which might have the virus in it. Remember, virus carried in liquids. So blue talks to the purple. Purple talks to the red. Red talks to the blue. Blue talks to black there. Black talks to the orange. Okay, so now we're going back up, and they're all going to talk to one more person. We get a pick this time. It's not going to be right next door. Okay, so brown. Who's the next person they're talking to? Give me a color.
Orange.
Brown is going to talk to orange. Okay. Brown talks to orange. All right. We don't want to talk to the same people every time, so nobody else is going to talk to orange. Somebody new every time. All right. Blue. Who are they going to talk to this time? Doesn't matter. Pick anybody.
Blue talks to brown.
Blue talks to brown. Blue. Okay. Purple talks to like a blue, red, green, and black as possibility.
Black talks to
Purple's
green.
gonna talk to black. Perfect.
All right, I'll look.
Red, who do we want them to talk to?
Brown.
We've already done brown twice.
Oh.
We got more than two.
What about green?
Perfect. Red talks to green a second time. That's basically just one talk. This person is only talking to one person. They're social distancing pretty well. Purple talked to them, but you know, can't win them all. Okay, green. Who are they talking to? Who do we have left? Somebody needs to talk to orange. Somebody needs to talk to black.
Black talking to blue.
Not black. Oh, somebody needs to talk to orange. Yeah. That's the one we're missing. So we'll talk to orange from green. All right. Black needs to talk to somebody.
Black to blue.
Black to blue. Okay. And orange needs one more person that they're talking to. Anybody at all?
Orange
I'm gonna go
to purple.
purple, perfect. Exactly what I was going to suggest. Orange talks to purple. All right. Now the question is, how many of our tiny liquid people just got the coronavirus? How bad is this going to be? So we're going to take them all to the doctor, and we're going to give them a test, see what happens. If they are clear, they do not have the coronavirus. If they turn green, they got it. So let's start at this end with orange. Is our orange person? It's a little light green there. It's not very green, but a little green. So they've got some coronavirus. Black. Oh, that's awfully green. The green one? You'd assume they'd be green. Oh no, more coronavirus. Where are we on? Red? Oh dear, coronavirus all over the place. Purple. Oh God, more coronavirus. The coronavirus is getting everywhere. Green. No, that's blue. Green again. Oh no. And brown. Tons of coronavirus spilling out all over my table. The coronavirus has infected everybody, and we only had 2 interactions between 7 people. That's just talking to 2 different people. And we covered every single person we've got. So what happens if we talk to fewer people? Let me dump these. Oh dear. All right, once again, one of these people starts with the virus. And I'm not telling you which one. If you know, you can probably see because they're down. All right, secret mix-up. Like 3-card money. Exciting. Okay, so let's do it again. We're only going to talk to one person at a time. Back to our board. Here we go. Nope, need to move up a bit. You can't see that green at all. That's green. Okay, who's a brown gonna talk to? Yes, Caitlin. Purple. Brown to purple. Brown's gonna talk to purple. My brown, there's my purple. They're talking together. Got it. Blue. Who's the blue going to talk to?
Green.
Green. Good green. Put those up. Blue to green. What we got next? Purple. Who's purple want to talk to? Caitlin's pretty much you, Rocket.
I don't. Orange?
Orange. Perfect. Purple to orange. Okay. Red. What do you like for red?
Red to black.
Right. Miss Scarlet too. They didn't have a black character. Blue, so not bad. Okay. Now we're to green. Who's green want to talk to? Plenty of.
I'm thinking.
Doesn't matter. Just
All right, green can talk to orange.
green to orange. All right, green to orange. And black.
To brown.
Black's going to go talk to brown. and orange. One last one.
Oh, orange to green.
Orange to green. Okay.
Sticking out.
Orange to green. Okay. So just like the first time, only one person started with. Question is, how many people get it now? Where you want to start this time, Caitlin? This side or this side? Okay. This one. I'm trying to figure out with the mirror image. Over here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So did Brown have the virus? Get a little more reagent in here. Oh, that's a little green. They're a bit sick with this. They ended up with it. What's next? Blue. Nope, nice and clear. No virus. Purple. Did purple get the virus? Nah, clear again. After purple, is that red? Yeah, red. See if red had it. Oh, that's awfully green. They got some virus. Green. Oh, green doesn't have the green. Nice and clear. Black. Oh, green again. More virus. And our dear friend, Mr. Orange. Nope, nice and clear. So out of these 7 people, when we're only talking to one person at a time, we've only got 3 people that end up with the virus instead of everybody, which is what we ended up with the first time. That's why social distancing works. That's why staying away from people doesn't spread everything. You talk to fewer people, there's less going back and forth. Again, it was just one person that had the virus in both cases. When we talk to fewer people, it doesn't spread around through everybody. That's what we're shooting for. So does that part make sense? All right, now let's pop this open for questions. Caitlin. Anything you want to know that we haven't covered? Virus.
People are dying from it.
Yes. It's a bad thing.
Yeah, a lot of people are dying from New York, too.
Yeah. Particularly in the city of New York. Any guesses as to why so many people are dying in New York?
Because they're not being safe.
Well, it's not that they're not particularly safe. They're probably just as safe as you and I are. What they're doing. They're washing their hands, they're wearing masks, things like that. But that's a lot of people in a very small place. You can't avoid people as much as you can out in the country, for instance. If you're out on a farm, my best friend lives in upstate New York. It's farm country all over the place there. She is not likely to get the coronavirus because she doesn't interact with anybody. Also, she hates people as much as I do, so she doesn't talk to anybody. She'll never get it.
You can give to animals, too, if you have it.
It depends on the animal. Where it starts, like most diseases that we get, they almost always start from animals. We call it zoonotic transmission, a fact that will never be useful again in your life. But that's what it's called. Yeah, animals get stuff, and some of it can affect us. That's what happened in this case. Almost certainly.
I miss you.
If you have a what? What'd you say?
I miss you, Phil.
I miss you too, Caitlin.
I'll come back soon.
Well, I mean, we don't want to be the 7 people that all have it, right?
Yeah.
Be the 3.
Phil, why do you think we have more cases in the United States than anywhere else in the world?
One is population. If we look at how many people live in a country and how many we have, we're doing better than most of Europe. But again, they're smaller and more concentrated in cities. So they have a lot more interaction than us. We don't test very well. We're doing a lot of testing, but we're not rolling out tests. So we don't know if we have it. So most of us wear masks to keep ourselves safe. But that, like we were talking about early, you want the mask to keep everybody else safe. So if I don't know that I have it, I need to be wearing that mask just in case I do, so I don't give it to everybody else. That's one of the things we don't do real well on, is that if I feel healthy, I don't really worry about it. And we need to do a lot more of that and make sure that we take care of everybody else. That's what's important. If anything, that is what we're learning from the coronavirus, is that what's most important is taking care of everybody else. If you just look out for yourself, we're all going to get coronavirus and die. So don't do that. Take care of each other.
Fantastic job, Phil. Thank you so much for that lesson today. And Caitlin, thank you for helping out and answering some of those questions. Felt like I was watching Mr. Wizard's World or Bill Nye. You make science fun, that's for sure. And I know I'm personally passionate about the science side of it. So I love hearing you talk and making it interactive and bring us a little bit of humor in all of this as well. So great job, Phil. Tomorrow we'll be coming to you again live from all over the state in different areas with some amazing topics. I think tomorrow we'll be playing some games again and doing some Pictionary and some trivia. And we'll also be doing some history lessons down in Gallia, which will be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to that as well. So hope to have you all join us tomorrow. We'll be back on live again at 10 a.m. Till then, have a wonderful night. And again, stay safe and stay healthy. And we hope to see you all really soon. Thank you.